being given the ability to allow the tension to build that little bit more. Elena Olsen, who was yellow carded in the final when these two played each other last time out in Lima. This readies ourselves to kick off, and this is a carbon copy of both the Lima final and the Toronto final. Canada, USA. There's never been a Pan American women's sevens final that hasn't involved both these nations. And both times, it is Canada who have emerged victorious. Can the USA writes a new chapter, one that ends with gold for the Star-Spangled Banner Nation. Nerea Livoni blasts her whistle and tells us that it is time. The gold medal match at Santiago 2023 in the women's sevens is underway and finding its way to the touchline. So an early examination of the line-out set piece of Canada, who breezed through their semi-final, as did the USA. Canada did have a stern examination, though, by Brazil in their final group match. It could have led to them facing the USA in the semi-finals had they not come out on top, but late tries arriving and tries just in the nick of time from Charity Williams and then Lucy Romeo, who was a late addition to this squad, but proving her worth on debut in Canadian colours. Someone who isn't on debut is Alona Ma, who's just deleted one of the Canadians there on the edge of the 22. Although Alona Ma will feel like a new signing, returning after breaking an ankle in March. And how about that for a charge from Logan Piper, carrying USA players with her. Short line offered up and a hit against the grain, almost through from Isabel Crosley. Charity Williams fishes around, finds Norston, who in turn finds the significant tackle of Olsen. Canada retaining the ball well here. Hogan Rochester runs into Naya Tapper and Alona Ma. Not an activity your doctor or insurance broker would recommend, but she comes out unscathed and Canada come away with possession. USA temporarily down to 6 with a stricken player on the floor. But an excellent passage of play for both sides, really. Comes to a close with a loose pass from Canada going into touch. USA survive their first defensive examination. Chetaremba, who is such a key player, offers that physicality but also pace out on the wings. Often the strategy in sevens to have a smaller, elusive, faster winger and then station a more uncompromising frame on the other wing, just to add that variety, that texture to the threats. We won't get to see any of the USA Flyers in full flow because the line-out not straight. And Canada, having been given the option of either a scrum or a line-out, interestingly plump for the line-out. Usually the scrum is the no-brainer, but maybe a nod to the physicality that the USA forwards offer there. No contest from the USA. A maul is designed, there's no engagement, and Canada at the moment can just moonwalk their way to the line. Eventually the engage comes and Logan looks to latch on, then she breaks down the short side. Confusion reigning in the USA defense. Piper Logan not thinking twice about taking advantage. An absolutely bizarre passage. But Logan Piper, razor sharp. Asia Hogan-Rochester unable to add the extras, but a bright start from Canada. They've had USA defending for the lion's share of the opening 4 minutes or so. So what happened here is, if you don't engage as the USA, then in theory one of your players can go round and steal the ball, but the USA, no player engaged, no player went round, and then as soon as they did, it created spaces down the short side and Logan Piper stole away. Someone who doesn't need much room herself is Naya Tapper, but a key challenge coming in from Crossley. Sammy Sullivan plays half-back. Olsen looks to switch, finds Lauren Doyle. Doyle over across the halfway. Sullivan, Rookie of the Year nomination on the World Series. Some stellar displays in the early stages of the season, but an uncharacteristic effort from Christy Kershey. USA not really at the races in this first half. Last minute of a fascinating first half in the gold medal match of Santiago. Well, the pass came too late. It would have been forward even if it was taken, but as it was, the timing off. Olsen. She's given untidy ball there after a good shove from the Canadian trio. USA, with the final play of the game, are going to have to go from deep. They're going to go to Tapper. Tapper wrapped up on the fringe of her 22. The referee having to shield her eyes from the sun. That's the kind of conditions that we're enjoying, but also contending with here in Santiago. Sullivan, all pace, all power. And that is an unbelievable turnover. Absolute precision from the try scorer, Logan. Canada, just a reminder, doing all this without some big names, few of whom have had a pretty successful little stint in New Zealand in WXV1. Congratulations to the Canadian women who finished second in the competition and secured a memorable win against France this weekend. And no doubt we'll be tuning in and enjoying the work of Piper Logan right here. Gets a little stodgy, but it's all right because Charity Williams is there to move things along. Daniels, smart hands to Norston. Norston looking to go through the gap, but goes her way into a solid white brick wall. And the counter ruck comes flooding through too. Charity Williams back in red, back playing sevens after a long-term injury. And back flourishing. Here she is at first receiver. It's getting scrappy, but there's a bit of class about Logan Piper. Over 2 minutes extra played. There are going to be some shattered bodies, some fatigued minds, but there's also going to be opportunities for the likes of Olsen. If she backs her pace, if she has the support, it comes from Ma, who drags USA and Canadian defenders into the 22 for what feels like the first time. Can USA strike late in the first half? Christy Kershey looking for Tapper. Tapper with the offload. And Kershey with the try. What grit, what character from USA. They've turned this half around in the dying embers. And Elena Olsen doesn't miss from bang in front of the uprights. And wouldn't you know it, it's half time and it's the USA who are leading. 7 points to 5. We've got a nail biter on our hands right here. To write a bit of Pan American history here in a final that is on a knife edge between USA and Canada. Isabel Crossley hunts down the kickoff as Olsen switches with Tapper, but she leaves the most important thing behind. More errors from the USA, who, while they lead, have been awfully scrappy. Canada, though, have looked pretty clinical, and none more so than Piper Logan. The youngster bags a brace in the gold medal match in Santiago. Piper Logan is playing the game differently to everybody else out there right now. Massive moments coming from the young number 11. And the pendulum swings once again. Alex Cedric, Tapper. Tapper having a poke down the short side, having more than a poke, having a grapple and a wrestle all the way across the 10-meter line. The timing just off from Sullivan, but Sullivan has got good pace to get herself going again. Little untidy. Doyle. Still Doyle. Canada try and drag her to the touchline. And Mar in at scrum half. They want to be deploying her differently. They want to get her on the ball in open space where she can do the damage that she loves. Doyle's forced to leap for the pass. And no danger, no malice in the challenge. The only reason she was taken in the air was because of a poor pass from the USA. You take the decision to convert the penalty into a scrum. There you see, pass from Sullivan, high, Doyle leaping. No intent from Norston. In fact, does pretty well to rein herself in with the sweet spot presenting itself. Brianne Nicholas tucked in there amongst the might of the likes of Olivier de Couvre. Cedric tastes the Canadian shoulder, but rides the hit before Nicholas gets bogged down in the breakdown. Another scrum called. Incredibly tense. Well, the sound effects from the crowd tell you that it was a bit of an ungainly challenge. And one more scrum is called, so while it does present a good attacking platform, it does also eat away a fair amount of the clock. Goodness me, Elena Olsen copping one awkwardly round the neck. Margaret Valenzuela wearing 8 is on for Canada. USA look to strike through the centres, bringing in Cedric, but the tackle comes in from Daniels. Tapper again spots a hole, takes a couple of red jerseys to drag her down, and Cedric, Super Cedric, flies across the line and takes USA to level at 12 points apiece. It just opened up for Cedric after the sniping work of Naya Tapper. She's been really, really direct. And with the conversion slotted, USA again find themselves with a slender 2-point lead. Olsen goes sky high and deep down the middle. Handled backwards. So Margaret Valenzuela is welcome to continue. Two knock-ons. The first from a Canadian hand. And this is just what the USA like. Scrum on the fringe of the 22. Big blindside on this left-hand side behind Olsen to work with. And as you can see, Lauren Doyle stationed directly behind, but she slides to the right. and brings in Cedric, who goes to Tapper. Tapper versus Williams. How many times have they done this dance? But it's Naya Tapper who is dancing USA to the gold medal ball. A try at the death to seal Canada's fate and clinch gold for USA. The final act and the final whistle, and a final to remember for Lauren Doyle and her USA Eagle girls.